I am from Tyrite Solutions. Today we are going to learn about HTML and HTML5. So before going to learn about HTML and HTML5, let me create a notepad introduction to HTML. Here in this notepad I am going to write here. So the basic question starts that what is this front end? So the basic question before going to learn about the HTML and HTML5, the basic question arises here is what is front end? What is this front end? So here the answer is front end of an application is that part of any application which user interacts the first. So that means whenever we are visiting any website, the first thing that is coming in front of us is called the front end. So now here a question arises that how we can develop the front end of an application. Front end, how we can develop the front end of an application. So to develop the front end of an application, to develop the front end of any application, we must have a skill. We must have skills. We must have skills and knowledge. We must have skills and knowledge on the front end technologies. On the front end technologies. Technologies. So now what is this front end technologies? So front end technologies the front end technologies are the first one is we have HTML and HTML5, HTML and HTML5, HTML5. Then we have CSS and CSS3, CSS and CSS3. This full form of this CSS is cascading cascading style sheet style sheet cascading style sheet. The next one is we must have a skill of JavaScript. It is a scripting language. It is a scripting language. Scripting language. Then we must have skill of Angular. It is a framework. It is a front end framework. It is a front end framework. Next is React.js. You must have a skill of React.js. So it is also a framework. It is also a front end framework. Front end framework. So the next part is we must have skill of Node.js. So it is also a JavaScript framework. Work. So now using these technologies, using these front-end technologies, front-end, using these front-end technologies, we can develop the following web applications, So what are the web applications we can develop? We can develop, the first one is static web applications. Static web applications. We can develop static web applications. Next, we can develop responsive static web application. Static web application. Next, we can develop dynamic web application. Dynamic web applications. Dynamic web applications. Next, we can develop responsive dynamic web applications. Responsive dynamic web applications. Next, we can develop single page web application. Single page web applications. Single page web applications. Next, we can develop responsive single page web applications. These many things we can develop by using the front-end technologies. So now here the next question before going to HTML and the HTML5 is, what is the process of this web development? So what is web development process? Development process. What is this web development process? So here it is a process or methodology. It is a process or methodology to develop and deploy types of types of web applications for the usage So what are the various types of application? The first one is intranet applications. Intranet applications. Intranet applications. And the second one we have is, the first one we have is intranet application, and the second one is we have internet application. Internet web application or application. So these two types of applications we can develop and deploy in the web development process. So now what is this intranet application? So intranet application. So an application which is developed and deployed for a usage of particular company, company is said to be intranet application. The next part is internet application. So this internet application is an application which is developed or deployed globally. Okay. So an application which is developed or deployed globally, which can be utilized by everyone, which can be utilized by everyone. It is said to be internet application. Internet application. So for internet application, the examples of internet applications are business web applications, business web applications, business web applications. The next one we have is e-commerce web application, e-commerce web application, web application, e-commerce web application. The next one we have is social media web application, social media web application. Then we have ERP web application, ERP web application. So now let's come to the main part, that is HTML and HTML5. So here HTML and HTML5. HTML5. So HTML stands for hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. The main objective of HTML and HTML5 is to build is to build build static content of the web. To build static content of the web application. Okay, guys. So to build any static content of the web application, we need HTML and HTML5. So the next point here is HTML and HTML5 is HTML and HTML5 is a technology, not any programming language. HTML and HTML5 is technologies, not a programming, language, not a programming language. Okay, so what is this difference between technology and programming language? So understand this, programming language deals with the logical aspects. Suppose if you want to add two numbers, at that time we need a logic, okay, where we need to store the variables, okay, how we can access the memory location. These logics are required, and these logics can be built by programming language, but technology don't require any logical aspects. Just to represent the textual content on the web page, we need HTML and HTML5. Okay, so the next point here is HTML and HTML5 is tag based technologies. tag-based technologies. It contains it consists of it consists of two types of tags. The first one is here paired tags, paired tags. The second one is unpaired tags, unpaired tags. Okay, guys. So what is this now? Paired tags and unpaired tags. So paired first one is paired tags. Paired tags. So paired tags. So paired tags can be represented as it is a combination of an opening tag and an opening an opening tag an opening tag and one closing tag and one closing tag and one closing tag. Then it is said to be then it is said to be paired tags. Paired tags. So paired tags always have an opening tag and one closing tag. Okay, guys. So now the example of paired tag is we have HTML because if you see in the HTML we have an opening HTML tag. This one is opening HTML tag, and here we need to close that HTML tag. Next example we can take it as body tag. So opening body tag and the closing 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 body tag. Okay, guys, so now let's go to unpaired tags. So what is this unpaired tags? Unpaired unpaired tags. So unpaired tags can be represented as which is which is having self close tags, which is having self closing tags, self closing tags. We don't need separate closing tag and separate opening tag. These tags are closed within themselves. So for example, if you say image tag, so to open image tag, we have to write img, and to close it, just we have to place a slash there and greater than symbol. So that is self-closing. Okay, guys. Now to save any file as an HTML file, we have to put dot HTML as extension. We have to put dot HTML as an extension. So now let's see what is the basic structure of the HTML. So basic structure of HTML. Structure of HTML. So now let me open my Visual Studio Code. There we'll be seeing practically that what is the structure of any HTML page. Okay, so now here I am opening day1.html. Day1.html. So I am opening here HTML. The first tag should be HTML. Okay, as I said, HTML is the pair tag, so I need to close it once again. So this one is opening and here I am closing it. So slash HTML. This HTML and HTML is closed. Now inside this here I have to write head. Okay, so head also is a paired tag which says this one is opening and this one is the closing. Okay, guys, getting inside the head, we have a title tag. Title tag. Here we can give the title of our web page. The title of our web page is the the first class, the first session. Okay, this is now our title. Next, after title comes the one after the closing of this head tag, we have to open body tag. So body tag, and this body tag contains the actual content that should be displayed on the web page. So for that purpose, here suppose I am writing h1. Now, if I run this code, this is my web page. So now if I run this code here, so here you can see inside this is getting right now. It don't have anything. It is just a plain page. Why this one is a plain page? Because I have not put any content inside my body tag. So suppose just for an example, I am putting this is my this is my first session. This is my first session of HTML, or we can say front end. So now if you observe here that it is displayed on my screen now. Guys, getting? So after that, you observe here that whatever the title we have given, the first session, that title is displayed on the top of the web page here. Okay, guys, here if you observe, my title is displaying. Okay, guys, getting? So I hope everyone is getting. So now this is the basic structure of the web page. Okay, guys. So now let's work with the heading. Let me copy this code first just to have a reference. Okay. So here I am pasting it. So now there is a shortcut to get all these things like so suppose I want to put a boilerplate means a sample. So to get the boilerplate or to get the HTML file, we have to press shift and exclamatory mark and press enter. So automatically you will get all the basic requirements of the web page of the HTML page. So now inside the body tag, let's deal with heading tag here. So our next part is heading tag, heading, heading tag. So what is this heading tag? So heading tag HTML and HTML5, HTML and HTML5 supports heading tags, heading heading tags. Then heading tags are paired tags, paired tags. The main objective, the main main objective of heading tags heading tags heading tags is to represent different types of headings, represent different different types of headings. Different types of headings is to represent different types of heading in different ways, in different ways. Okay, so we have heading tag. The first heading starts with h1. As I said, heading tags is a pair tag. So first we have to give the opening tag here. After that we have to give the closing also. So closing tag of h1, and this will keep on going. This will keep on going, and at the last heading the last heading is H6. So as I said, heading tag is paired. So now I have to open the H6 first. Then we have to close it also. So these are the heading tags. Now let's check heading tags practically. Okay guys, so what is the purpose of heading tags? How we are going to use heading tags? Let's check it practically. So let me go to the VS Code once again. Inside the body tag, once again I am writing here h1 first heading tag, and I am saying that I want to be I want to be I want to be I want to be a front end developer. Be a front end developer. Front end developer. H1. H2 I am giving as I will be a I will be a front end developer. Front end developer. H3 I am giving it as will be I I will be a JavaScript developer. I will be a JavaScript developer. H4 I am writing here as I will be a I will be I will be an Angular developer. I will be an Angular developer. I will be an Angular developer. Then here I am going to write I will be a backend developer. Backend developer. Backend developer. So after that, at 6 I am opening and closing. So here I am writing I will be a Django developer. I will be a Django developer. Okay guys, so now let me run this code and check what happens, what is our output. So here I am giving title as heading tags in HTML. Okay guys, so now let me run this code and check what our output is. So here our output is something like this. I want to be a front-end developer. This is my H1. Okay, guys. So I will be a front-end developer. This is my H2. I will be a JavaScript developer. This is my H3. I will be an Angular developer. This is my H4. I will be a backend developer. This is my H5. And I will be a Django developer. This is my H6. So from H1 to H6, we can observe one thing, that H1 has a bold character, but H6 have not much bolder characters. Okay, guys. So the difference from H1 to H6 is the boldness of the character is decreased. Okay, guys. So I hope this is clear to all. Okay, guys. So thank you for today's session. Thank you, guys.